Hey guys, today I'll be reviewing yet another video of our favorite Ekko mid-main Xiao Lao ban, and this one has the title I Love Nashors, and I think that's actually pretty interesting because I've recently felt like Lich Bane is better in most games. I don't know. I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like with the current meta, either the champions have a lot of burst, let's say like Kha'Zix here, or they're just ranged champs. Especially a lot of people are playing stuff like Tristana mid at the moment, and against all of these champs, I would rather build Lich Bane, and as well against these kind of tanks and like Renekton's and these champs as well. I'd simply rather build Lich Bane to fight in bursts, so I've been finding myself building Lich Bane over Nashors in definitely like 90% of my games, at least very recently, I would say. And also someone in my comments has even said also Grandmaster Ekko said they believe Lich Bane is better at the moment. And yeah, but let's see. I mean, Nashors does feel good if you're like allowed to build it, and it's never worthless or anything like that. But I feel like in this game as well, I would have personally went for Lich Bane. But let's see how it looks. This is why I'm obviously also saying every time you can build both items. They will never be terrible. As you can see, it still does work. It's just like with Lich Bane, you can become way more untouchable into these kind of enemies. This was definitely close. I don't know that there wasn't even that crazy stuff happening. Okay, that's a very interesting rune setup. So you're not apparently like I don't know if the damage creep has just been so crazy in this game, but because usually you had to take something in the secondary runes to be able to wave clear. But he doesn't even take the mini dematerializer. He doesn't take absolute focus. That's very interesting. Let's see. Like, do you just simply deal enough damage to wave clear no matter what runes you take? Well, that was definitely good. He really played around the level 2 there. I think it's very odd that the Katarina didn't play around level 2 at all here. Like, she knows that she's not gonna get level 2 soon. You should know that this is the minion that Xiao Lao gets it from. Like, it's not that difficult, right? It's the first melee minion in the second wave that you kill, I think. So, yeah, definitely odd that she... In a challenger game, the fact that this guy gets out-traded like this, but yeah. I mean, maybe he just couldn't really do anything else there, I'm not sure. I think this matchup is for sure, I would say it's just a skill matchup. I think Ekko can definitely win, right? Katarina has no CC and nothing. For sure, one thing though, you could see she has a bone plating, so like the bone plating definitely makes it difficult to just straight up kill her most of the time. Let's see if he gets a kill here, that would be really nice. Yeah, he even flashes for it. I guess to save the Lulu as well. Like the Saya again, she just tanks the passive as if it's nothing. I guess he'll die here probably. No? Whoa, wow. I guess in the early game Katarina cooldowns are also really long. And she already used her reset to follow, I guess. Very important, right? Like, stay out of the daggers if you can. Here, there's 2 daggers here. Like, make sure to not go in before she activated them. So that's exactly what he's doing already. He's just staying in his W, waiting for them to be procced, and then he's going in. Oh wow, that's a very long engage range. I didn't know. I didn't know Rengar could do that, honestly. I guess she was just too close. She can't stand here. Still, that's quite long. I really didn't know that range. Like, Ragnar is one of those champs that just doesn't gank mid a lot early. His Kha'Zix also a problem, though. You could also see in the beginning he was quite fat. Kha'Zix just one of those champs that's super annoying, or like super difficult to kill with Ekko, right? You see, he'll just always go invis and then you can never really proc passive. Again, okay, he actually didn't manage to go out of the E, but still. Most of the time he will just, with enough movement speed, you will just never be able to proc passive, and that's why it's so hard to kill him. And then later on he will also have a belt shield as well, usually. And in certain metas he was even able to build the anti-shielding item, and that's when you really cannot 1v1 him. Because if your shield is quite low, then it's just a big part missing in Ekko's kit, basically. He has the rocket belt at 10 minutes here, has to TP back. This point I think you can probably look to kill her. Wow, she just straight up gets stunned. That's so crazy. I mean, I don't know. She was like not really. Of course, she had to walk in that direction, sure, but like really a challenger player can't just make one step down to not get stunned. I feel like, especially because she probably even lives since the Kha'Zix was there. Let's see. I mean, she E's now, right? She E's on the minion now, I think. So she doesn't have that. Okay, she needs to proc her dagger. Now she should have E up again. She's just chilling. Like, if she's not getting stunned here, she just E's to the Kha'Zix and nothing's happening here, I guess. Or like, maybe something's happening. Maybe they're 2v2, but definitely better than us getting stunned up here. It's so weird. Like, people are so bad at playing around Ekko's abilities. That's kind of also what I like about the champ. It's just, he's never been, or not never, but he's not been like a super meta champ for a long time, so people just are not super used to his like limits and stuff, I guess. That's often really it feels like. Even in higher elos, people just don't respect your damage. You can just straight up one-tap people and they're always just surprised, and it looks like there are some silver players. And this Katarina is just inting as well, though. We could also see that in the beginning she goes 112 or something. Sometimes, of course, you just have bad games, right? But like in Challenger, I would still assume higher standards. You can see like everyone's roaming for the Herald. Xiao Lao Ben's team didn't even get it. Let's see if they can get the Drake. They're diving the tier 2 tower at 15 minutes. Ooh. Yeah, I think this is a situation where you shouldn't have eat. Like, especially since his Rocket Bell's on cooldown, so he can't even do a quick combo anyways. Right, like if he EQs here, he will... Look, like realistically, how is he ever gonna do an auto attack on these guys? They're not target dummies, they will do something. They will move, and that's exactly what happens here, right? I think the play here should have just been to Q. Right, like, because his team is pressuring from the other side, he just tries to get a Q, then waits for the Q to hopefully get 2 stacks, and then he can just proc it with his E, right? EQing here is just a mistake, as you can see, he has to ult out right away. This is never gonna work, and especially since Rocket Bell was on cooldown and he couldn't have even done a quick combo, then there's really no way. I don't know if that's worth it, I mean... He's not gonna cast it? Wow. I would have personally cast that. I mean, I don't know about the Fiora stats. Maybe he wanted her to be enabled as well, but she's level 13. I imagine she's also doing well. I mean, maybe that's another reason why he gave it as well, since this guy can play the game. Of course, in this elo, right, like, you really should never be mad if your team gets kills and whatever. Like, in this elo, people can play the game. Like, everyone in the game should be able to. Of course, this Katarina, for example, maybe she's just having a really rough game, right? Next game she might pop off. I think in this elo you really don't need to have this mindset of I'm the only carry anymore. I think in lower elos you definitely should have that with Ekko. Because you can, right? You can really just win games on your own. Like, even in high elos you can win games on your own, of course, if you're just playing really well. And the game favors you. Let's say, for example, this game I would say is kind of good for Ekko. The enemies have very low CC, right? And that's why it's just super playable for him. Mostly FK Santa CC and like Jenna Tornado, but that's really it. And like, okay, Zaya, E, but it's all super dodgeable CC, right? None of it is point to click or anything, so these kind of games you should just be able to carry with Ekko. Of course, with Ekko mid, like, that's the thing about Ekko mid. With Ekko jungle, I'm just 100% certain you carry this game. Because it's so easy, but with Ekko mid, or it's like, it's so easy to play and you're kind of guaranteed to just be able to scale up. I mean, with Kha'Zix not 100%, of course, since if he gets ahead he might invade you, but generally in the jungle you're much safer at getting into the game. Oh, damn. See, like, that's it though. But let me just finish my sentence. Like, with jungle, it's much easier to get into the game consistently. So if you just can get to 2 items, you will be able to really carry this game, right? And in the mid lane, you need to still be able to play the early game, because if you lose the lane early, then it doesn't matter how good Ekko is in the game. You're just... I mean, it does matter, of course, you might have more chances to come back, but It's like it's just so much more difficult to stay in the game in jungle. That's in mid. That's what I'm basically trying to get at. That's why Ekko jungle is better. And also, of course, the jungle impact can also do something. Yeah, and then he just dies to the Kha'Zix. Another thing, like Kha'Zix just has so much DPS, right? Like because his Q is no cooldown and it deals so much damage. Nashors is completed here. I mean, against K'Sante, it definitely feels good, right? You can auto attack a lot. I guess they clean them up here. One person lived the Kha'Zix, I guess. Will he get them? Yeah, and then also with the Duskblade, right? It's so annoying. Yeah, you cannot attack either. There's just so much time when you're fighting Kha'Zix where you simply cannot attack him. Okay, he also dies though. I don't know, maybe the Kha'Zix should have just went base. I think he should have actually went base here, got a Rabadons and then pushed, honestly. Really don't know. He's on 1 HP here. And he has like a huge power spike waiting. Actually he doesn't have Futures Market. You know what? Like, but if he's going for this rune setup, you might as well play Futures Market, right? Since you apparently don't need the minion dematerialization. Maybe that makes Ekko mid more playable for me personally. If you can just go Futures Market, I might test that out. I mean, I don't enjoy playing Ekko mid that much, so maybe I'm not gonna test it out. But generally, if he's not playing like fuck like Cosmic Insight, you know, it's not that crazy of a rune. Okay, so that TP was really bad, right? He literally just TP'd here to clear 2 waves. I don't know. I guess basing and TPing would have been too slow as well. Okay, Sante Champion is 3 levels down and he's just 1v1ing him. 3 levels down, he's literally 0-8. He will not yield, you know. Oh my god, this champ is so disgusting if you can play him. He is, at least he takes some skill, right? Like all his abilities are basically skill shots, so he's not like a super unskilled champ, but it's definitely disgusting. What this champ can do. Slightly mistimed this W here, sadly. Mistake. Yeah, he can of course kill if he stuns. Oh, wow. What? That seemed fair. He just ran up to him, W, auto-attacked Q, and he's dead. Damn. So this might be a reason to build Zhonya's, just so this can't happen. Like, not even because of the active, just mostly because of the armor. Of course, I think the armor is enough to stop that from happening. I think the more ahead you are, the better Nashors feels as well. Because, of course, if you're kind of ahead, you can just tank a bit more auto attacks. Also, I think in the jungle, actually, with the Green Smite, you're also... Like, I don't think you should ever build Nashors without Green Smite, currently at least. Because damage is just too high in the game, you know? You'll just die too quickly. Wow, this Lulu flashed over. Interesting. I feel like they could have done more there, honestly. But in these kind of situations, it's definitely understandable that he doesn't want to risk too much. At this point, dying can definitely just be game over. Oh, sad. But I mean, he also kind of wants to maybe look to do stuff here, end the game. I'm sure. This Kha'Zix definitely making the champ look quite unfair, gotta say. Like, Kha'Zix got nerfed, of course, so he's not been that present since then. Very important. I mean, honestly, everything that's happening here is not even super impressive. He's just stronger than these guys. Just had to kill the Kha'Zix in the beginning. Okay, now he's getting Madras as well. White stuff. Yeah, white stuff definitely a super important item, I've realized that. It's definitely like the highest damage item in general. Or the highest damage build. Like, don't build Shadow Flame, guys. Shadow Flame is a bad item. I know I said it in my earliest itemization video, but I just changed my mind since then. Void Stuff, even if the enemies are not building MR, Void Stuff just deals more damage. It is like that. Okay, he was able to carry the game after all, so yeah, very nice. Very solid game. As I said, I think Nashors, overall, I think this game would have been nice with Lich Bane as well, I'm sure. Nashors was fine because he was so fat, right? If you're so fat and you're just up in levels the whole time and whatever, you can just tank more stats. Wow, what an interesting Kha'Zix build, by the way. But like I feel like let's see, for example, the Zaya and whatever, he really didn't auto attack them that much, right? I mean, there was like one situation here where in the end where he just was able to, but basically he was just able to proc his passive once and then she died anyway. So the same would have happened with Lich Bane. I think the most interesting thing here really in this game, actually for me personally, was the rune setup that he chose. Just seeing that he doesn't need any secondary rune setup for wave clear is actually quite a big deal for Ekko in my opinion. So I might test that out for sure, because that's one thing I've also really disliked about Ekko mid is just the fact that you're missing Futures Market. For me, Futures Market makes Ekko's gameplay so much more consistent, and I think consistency is what's really just so important. For a champ like Ekko, that is just right. All you want to do is guarantee that you can hit your item spikes, and that's the reason why Ekko mid, as I already talked about, is not as good, because it's not as guaranteed as in the jungle, where you just have the gold there. That's much harder to take away from you. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you could learn something as well. I'll definitely keep reviewing. I don't know if the next review will also be from Xiao Lao. If you have any other recommendations for some other Ekko players, I've been reviewing a bunch. I don't know how many there are. Maybe I'll review some NA player, for example. I think that would be interesting to see, like how good the NA Challenger Echoes actually are. So yeah, actually let me know if someone's still watching until here, of course. But yeah, let me know if there's any NA Ekko player you want me to take a look at. I would really be interested in that. Okay, yeah, but if you like the video, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and watch the next one. Bye.